because the fandom has once again been given new life, I had to find something that would match this insanity and go with it. And what better way to get in with that insanity than by revisiting author Justice 4243? Good God, when will this guy's work stop popping up on my radar?
When you stop reading it, shit. I mean, I swear, I think you're a fan of his. I'm starting to think you're a fan of his.
Can you blame me? His writing, his stories so far have all proven to be winners, including the one Starlight Glimmer fanfic that broke you. I'm still really sorry about that.
You keep breaking me with some of his fanfics. Why? Do you just hate me, man?
Gonzo, I swear to God, I'm not doing it intentionally. It's just I have no idea. I really don't.
You keep breaking me like this, I'm gonna probably wind up in a hospital.
Oh, come on. Again, it's not intentional. I'm just doing it because I love doing this stuff with you, you know? Well, and no, Real Rotor, it's not a Pinkie Pie Discovers blank, but it is something along those lines. Because,
fuck.
The story I decided to go with, believe it or not, is one that he wrote, or, let me correct myself, is currently writing, in continuation to another story of his that we covered. Guess where I'm going with this?
Pinkie Pie centered.
Oh, yes! Tonight's story is a Pinkie Pie and Sonata Dusk-centric fanfiction, and it is a sequel to Cafeteria Control! That story is Pinkie and Sonata's Excellent Adventure!
I'm fucking suing. That's copywriting Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Well,
if the studio's not doing it, I will fucking do it.
Well, allow me to link it in this live stream chat and then the Skype chat. I think. There we go.
Yeah, because the links do not want to work through the Procaster.
But yes, this is a Pinkie Pie Sonata Dusk story, and as I said, it is a sequel to another story of Justices that we read. That being Cafeteria Control, which was centered around Sunset Shimmer trying to rally around a musically obsessed Canterlot High. If we remember that story and reading.
Too many. No, I'm not blocking that. Get rid of that ad. I don't know why. Sometimes my fucking Google Chrome wants to not block ads. And seriously, some sites are, including Tumblr, are working around that little ad blocker of mine. It's just fucking annoying. Twice now, Tumblr has managed to. What just happened?
What?
Oh, somebody tried to call me. Yikes! Don't call me.
All right.
Anyways, Tumblr has put up the two banners that I try to block. One was for some band, another one was for fantasy football, because this football season it's already underway. In fact, because my local news stations is covering the local football games. I got an Indianapolis station that's covering the Colts like there's no fucking tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. But, yes, speaking of Justice, I don't think we've actually let him know that we read most of his recent stuff. Like, what did we do? We did the Starlight Glimmer fanfic, Together We Can Name This Town, and then we did the next two chapters of All That Shimmered. I don't think we let him know about that.
We really do need to get back to that.
I know.
Since Alex can't, we might as well... Hey, why don't we ask...
Love Cake?
Why not? She does a decent... Not Sonata, Sunset.
I guess we could do that. It just depresses me and how we've lost contact with Alex, and I'm vainly holding out until October for Alex, but I'm losing hope fast, and it's beginning to depress me.
Completely, and I can understand.
But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Pinkie Pie and Sonata Dusk becoming friends.
There's 5 chapters in this already.
Yes, and it is still ongoing, and yeah.
I'm afraid at how this is going to go.
Well, there's only one way to find out. So, may as well dive in. This is Pinkie and Sonata's Excellent Adventure by Justice 4243, Chapter 1, Friendless and Clueless at Canterlot High. Again, very nice way to start it off with just the name of that chapter alone.
So, how is it gonna start?
The sun shone brightly over Canterlot High School as the students happily walked and milled about the campus. Some made small talk with each other as they made their way to their destination. Some simply found a spot to hang out and chat, and others held hands. Everywhere one looked, they were happy. Try that again, I'm losing myself there. Everywhere one looked, there were happy, excited faces of students about. Students of different dresses easily mingled with each other. Teenagers interacted with each other very much as if their little differences didn't matter, and the simple fact that they were all in the same school was enough to bring them together. Disgusting, isn't it? Eh?
Who says that?
Adagio hated it, but she hated lots of things. She scowled out at the mass of students with a look of disdain. Of course.
Yikes.
Need to remind you all, this is a continuation from the events of Cafeteria Control, so they've lost their amulets, and Sunset was getting off power hungry again, so...
For a while.
Yeah. It is possibly the worst thing ever. A few steps behind Adagio sat Aria. If Adagio's look was disdainful, then Aria's was the picture of absolute contempt. It was as if the very atmosphere of the school offended her, and she sneered out at everyone about her. Even worse than losing our powers? Sonata simply looked out at the events around her in confusion, this being about the closest to paying attention as she got.
Especially when we keep writing her as less than scholarly.
As more of a dumbass than she was in Rainbow Rock, as I continue to say.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice.
What?
I was trying to be nice, I'm sorry.
I don't blame you. Correction, Aria said, glaring at Sonata. Third worst thing. Oh, really? Sonata said. What's the second? Losing our powers, Aria said as she folded her arms over her chest. Sonata's eyes unfocused as she stared off into the empty space of the schoolyard as she attempted to parse Aria's response and come up with one of her own. Hey! Then what's the first thing? You! Wow.
Shit.
Sonata wrinkled her eyebrows and stared at Aria. Oh yeah? Well, you're purple!
That's about as good a defense as, hey, God told me no.
That's not an insult, moron! Aria cried. Girls! Adagio cried. Would you two shut up for once in your miserable lives? She said, forcing the words miserable lives through clenched teeth. We may have lost the battle, but the war is far from over.
Says the bitch.
What are we supposed to do? Sonata asked. The whole school hates us, and we hate them. Also, hey, no powers, Aria added. Adagio nodded. All true, but we know there's some way to get back to Equestria. We just need to figure out how to get the information out of Sunset Shimmer and her friends, and we can start over back home.
Dude,
I know.
Dude, you were banned for a reason.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to.
I'm going to take your shit again. I can tell you that much.
You were banned for a reason, and just because the person that banned you or pony that banned you isn't alive, that doesn't mean it's still in effect.
And even though Twilight did say the portal would remain open at the end of Rainbow Rocks, like, yeah. Too bad they hate us most. Too bad they hate us most of all, Sonata said. Especially Sunset Shimmer. Aria glared at Adagio. Gee, I wonder whose fault that was. Adagio returned the glare. Oh, please! Like it's my fault you two are such morons you can't carry out a simple plan!
I think it's your fault for relying on the presence of those two morons.
Yeah. Aria's already narrowed eyes narrowed further, and she clenched a fist tightly. Adagio mirrored Aria's look and pulled back her own fist. Girls! Sonata said, putting herself in between Aria and Adagio. Fighting isn't going to help us sort out what's most important here. Aria and Adagio paused, looked at each other, and then looked at Sonata. They lowered their fists and sighed. You're right, Sonata, Adagio said. For once, Aria growled out. Sonata nodded with a satisfied expression. Now let's concentrate on priority number one. Yeah.
And that would be...
getting breakfast!
Huh. Just when I thought she'd be smarter this time.
Adagio and Aria's angry expressions were back in a flash. They looked at each other and nodded. Oof!
Damn!
With a soft thump, Sonata hit the ground. Owie! Sonata uttered as she placed an arm over her stomach and rubbed her cheek. Adagio and Aria walked off as they continued to argue and shout at each other. Oh, man.
Damn.
Oh, you poor, poor thing, you!
Who is it?
Sonata looked up into the big sky-blue eyes of a female student. Her massive mop of pink hair sat in curls like a giant mess of cotton candy that framed her face.
Oh, fuck me.
I saw the whole thing! Pinkie exclaimed as she set down her backpack, the backpack she was holding, and held out her hand. You were just reminding them about the importance of the first meal of the day, and bam! Zoom! Straight to the moon! Or ground in this case.
Leave that to Pinkie Pie to know a Honeymooners reference.
Because Pinkie Pie, fuck you.
Yeah, I wish you didn't remind me.
Just rubbing it in again.
Thanks.
Anyways, no harm intended. Anyways, Sonata rolled over so she was sitting and supported herself with one hand as she left the other draped over her stomach. She stared at Pinkie's outstretched hand briefly, then looked up at her. But we're enemies! Pinkie grinned wide and shook her head. Don't worry about that. Enemies are just friends who are trying to kill you.
Pinkie, I would not use that as a defense. Yeah. Enemies are just friends who are trying to kill you. That would be your epitaph when you get killed.
Sonata's eyes went wide. That makes perfect sense, she said as she reached for Pinkie's hand. Are those meanies bullying you? Pinkie asked. Sonata nodded and gave Pinkie a sad look. They always pick on me. No! Yes! Sonata bemoaned. All because I'm not as smart as them. Well, that's no reason to be a big meanie pants. I know! So what if I have trouble reading or paying attention or even tying my shoes? Pinkie looked down at Sonata's feet. You don't have laces. You're wearing boots. Sonata nodded. Adagio and Aria said I'm not allowed to wear anything with laces after that one time I almost strangled myself to death.
How the fuck did that happen?
Again, only Sonata would be dumb enough to, strangle herself with boot laces. She was almost dumb enough to possibly choke to death on a wireless mouse, so...
And there's also that moment that she almost died because she tried to make a big giant fucking taco.
From a taco establishment that does not exist.
Tell that to her.
Yeah. Oh, you poor you! Pinkie cried as she suddenly threw her arms around Sonata and hugged her tightly. What's going on? Are you trying to suffocate me so I won't struggle when you unhinge your jaw and eat me?
Where did she get that idea?
Anaconda? Or python, whatever one it was?
Big snakes?
Yeah. Pinkie... No, silly, it's called a hug. It's what you do when you like someone. Oh! A slight bit of pink began to appear on Sonata's cheeks. Can I try hugging you? Pinkie loosened her grip and took a step back. Of course, silly Billy, she said with a smile. Okay. What do I do first? First, you put your arms out. Sonata thrust her arms straight forward. Owie! She cried as a pair of hands unexpectedly flew into her face.
Maybe she was a little too close.
Oh no! Sonata said with a distressed look on her face. I did it wrong! It's okay, Pinkie said as she rubbed her nose. Try again! She took a couple steps back. Sonata raised her arms straight in front of her again, and Pinkie pursed her lips. Well, that looks more like a zombie attack than a hug. Try spreading your arms out more. Sonata looked at her arms and slowly inched them away from each other. Good! A little more. She spread them out further. A little more. More. She continued to spread slowly more arms apart. Too far! Pinkie cried. Ah! Sonata quickly brought her arms a few inches closer together. Perfect! Now step up to me. Sonata took a few steps forward, right smack into Pinkie. Oof! Sonata frowned as her face was pressed right up against Pinkie's. Did I do something wrong? No, it's okay, Pinkie assured. Now just wrap your arms around me and... Good! I'm doing it! Sonata cried. I'm hugging someone! You... you sure are! Pinkie's face had begun to turn red as Sonata hugged her with all her might. Whee! I hugged someone! I hugged someone! She declared happily while jumping up and down. And Pinkie said weakly, Yay!
But she squeezed the life out of her. Damn it. Any more, we could have killed her. Shit!
Wouldn't have this story. Oh well. That was really fun, Sonata said as she giddily hopped from foot to foot. What else do people do when they like each other? Sonata was cut off as the growling of her stomach interrupted her. She looked out at her belly and frowned. Pinkie smiled. People who like each other share breakfast with each other. Really? I wish I knew that sooner. I'd start liking the vending machine. The vending machine isn't a person, silly. So that's why it never gave me food even when I threatened it to beat it to death with a baseball bat. That's Sonata. Hey, you're super duper funny. I am? Sonata replied as her eyes widened. Pinkie bent down and unzipped her backpack, then retrieving a cupcake holder. What's that? Sonata asked as Pinkie opened up the holder. Pinkie took the top off the cupcake holder and revealed what appeared to be a cupcake topped with burnt yellow-colored frosting.
What?
It's my special breakfast cupcake! Yay! What makes it special?
That's what I want to know.
Baked inside is a piece of bacon and some sausage, all covered in delicious maple syrup egg yolk frosting.
Well, that's not a bad idea. Maybe that might be something.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard something. Sonata's jaw unhinged. That sounds like the best cupcake in the history of cupcakes, she uttered. You think? Pinkie said as she looked at the cupcake. All my friends said it tasted weird, but you can have it if you want, Pinkie said, holding out the cupcakes. Sonata's eyes went wide as she stared at the confection. For realsies? For realsies! Sonata reached out and grabbed the cupcake. She brought it up to her face and took a tentative bite. How is it? Pinkie asked in an unsure tone. Tears began to stream from Sonata's face. Is it bad? Pinkie's features plummeted. Uh-oh. Suddenly, Sonata brought the cupcake up to her face and devoured it in a mess of cake, frosting, and meat products.
Cake, frosting, and meat products? Maybe that's the reason why. Maybe you should have used pancake batter or something.
Ah well. Pinkie's face lit up. Sonata stared far, far into the distance as she smiled. It was the best cupcake in the history of cupcakes. Yay! Pinkie exclaimed before she threw her arms around Sonata and hugged her tightly, and Sonata returned the hug. Sonata! Can you loosen your grip? Sure, Sonata said, loosening her grip. Anything for you, girl. Pinkie Pie, Pinkie said cheerfully. That rhymes with Slinky Fry.
Oh.
Pinkie gasped. Oh my gosh, you're right! I never knew that before.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, why don't we take a break from those two and see how Adagio and Aria are doing?
Please.
Heh. Aria took a break from her shouting match with Adagio long enough to watch Pinkie Pie and Sonata walk off as the pair giddily conversed with each other. Hey! She just stole our idiot! Aria cried. Wow.
Wow.
So, let her, Adagio said. Sonata's the most moronic person from both this world and Equestria I've ever met. I swear I get dumber just hanging around her. I know, Aria replied. But you know Sonata. If she's not under constant supervision, she's liable to hurt herself. Or maybe worse. Adagio rolled her eyes. Oh no! She cried sarcastically. She clenched a fist on her other hand and brought it up next to her chin. Whatever would we do if anything happened to our powerless brain-dead hanger-on? Ah.
Because without her, you two, it will probably be 1/3 of a. Hang on, let me think of the math.
2/3?
Yeah, your powers to basically have people bend to your will be 2/3 effective.
Yeah.
Which means there will only be one person who'll be like, "Who the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. What? Adagio exclaimed. Just go up to her and start making out with the little taco-obsessed freak if you care that much. Aria folded her arms in front of her chest. She's also the only one of us whose clothes have pockets. And still has all the money. Oh.
Why did you girls get purses?
That's what Sunset Shimmer said. They still haven't done it. Adagio's eyes opened wide as realization set in. She began to frantically scan the schoolyard. And now you care, Aria said. Quiet! Just shut up and help me find them! And now we've lost them, Aria said. Great! Nice leadership skills, Daji. What'll be the results of your next brilliant plan, I wonder? Maybe we'll all end up in a nice filthy ditch somewhere. Hey! Adagio snapped. I never would have lost sight of her if you weren't too busy blabbering out like the dim-witted moron you are. What? Aria said. I was the one who wanted to go after her. You were the one being a major douchebag about the whole thing.
Shit.
Adagio glared at Aria and raised her hand to flick Aria's nose with her fingers.
This is starting to become fucking Three Stooges. -1.
It's about to get worse. Aria recoiled slightly as from the small act of aggression, then let out a growl as she pulled her hand back, rolled it into a fist, and sent it flying towards Adagio's face. For a moment, the two girls did nothing. They simply stared at each other as they took in this unfamiliar situation. You slugged me, Adagio said as she raised a hand to her throbbing cheek. Aria grinned wide. I know! Sonata usually stops me, and let me tell you, it felt great!
Fuck.
Oh. How dare you! Adagio roared. I made this team! You'd be nothing without me! Oh no! I might have ended up banished to a horrible world without my powers if it wasn't for your brilliant guidance! Aria, I'm warning you, she growled out from between clenched teeth. Oh boy.
How worse can it get? I want to see.
What, Daji? What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Wreck my life more than you already have? Cause from where I'm standing, you've already done as much damage to me and yourself as you could possibly. Daji let out a roar as she dove on top of Aria. She quickly brought Aria to the ground before placing a few punches into Aria's face. Oof! Aria cried from the ground.
$5 on a cheesy booth.
Adagio grinned wickedly as she looked down at Aria. I knew you were all Aria suddenly leaned up and wrapped her fingers around some of Adagio's hair. A rather simple task given how much of the stuff there was. She pulled Adagio down to the ground next to her and delivered a few hits with her free hand. Within seconds, a number of CHS students had gathered to watch the girls fight it out as they wrestled with each other on the ground, punched, kicked, and even bit each other. Trixie, Sips, and Sales found themselves in front of the group. Oh boy, catfight! Sips exclaimed. Yeah, catfight! Yes, go Aria! Trixie cheered. Rip Adagio's shirt right off her sexy body!
Wait.
Trixie noticed the look she was giving. Don't judge, Trixie!
Are you in lesbians with them?
After Rainbow Rocks, I wouldn't be doubtful of that.
Well, I knew Trixie was a bit of a strange one, but I never thought like that. Especially in this world. Especially when she doesn't have like a rival to go with.
Snip suddenly smiled wide. Trixie, that's an awesome idea! Yeah, awesome! Snails agreed. Trixie smiled and motioned to herself. The great and powerful Trixie always has the best ideas.
You are in lesbians.
Yes. All right. As much as I hate to leave that, let's see how our two new best friends are doing now.
Let's see how things are going with the others. While we let those two stooges. Hold on.
Easy does it.
So I don't know why shit gets down my throat. Oh
right, well, let's see how the rest of the main 7 are doing.
+1.
+1. Applejack sat down at a table and inhaled a big waft of the food in front of her through her nose. Ah, another day, another heaping plate of Santa's delicious, unidentifiable brown stuff, she said as she dug a spoon into a pile of a lumpy brown substance that covered the central portion of her tray. Sunset swallowed a bit of food in her mouth and rested her fork next to the partially eaten meatloaf on her tray. She shook her head. AJ, your grandma works in the cafeteria. Just ask her what it is. And ruin the mystery? Applejack put a bit of her lunch into her mouth and swallowed before pointing her spoon at Sunset. Sans, you eat the meatloaf. You know what meat it's even made with? Sunset shrugged. Don't know, don't care. Sunset dug her fork into her meal, took another bite, chewed and swallowed. Just as long as one or more animals died to make my meal, I'm happy.
Tell that to the vegan.
Fluttershy whimpered from her seat, speak of the devil. Rainbow Dash and Rarity both cocked their eyebrows, and here's an interesting point. Rainbow Dash said, ain't that kind of weird? You know, you used to be a pony and all. Rarity nodded. Even weirder than you used to being a pony already is, darling. I came out of the portal wearing a leather jacket, Sunset exclaimed. She had another bite of meatloaf. Stuff was all effed up as soon as I stepped foot in this world. All I know now is meat is delicious, and having it for every meal is awesome.
Reminds me of that one short cartoon somebody made, Twilight in the human world, eating lots of meat.
Oh yeah, good
yeah.
Old Why?
Go. That was cute.
Yeah, I hear that. Applejack said. Assuming there's meat somewhere in this heap of delicious Atlantis dish. Applejack spooned another bit of her brown congealed mass into her mouth, swallowed it, and turned to Sunset. So how's the ride into Princess Twilight and that magic book going, Sugar Cube? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was shown at the end of Rainbow Rocks, and Sunset's still shown to be doing that in the friendship game, so that's nice.
Yeah, nice. Anyways.
Fluttershy perked up with an interested expression, excuse me. It must be so exciting to have a pen pal in another dimension. Sunset shrugged as she stabbed her fork into her meatloaf again. I've been drawing butts in it mostly. Huh?
Has Sunset been watching Little Miss J?
Oh, you sly dog. Applejack and Fluttershy each gave Sunset a blank stare. Rainbow Dash snickered. Rarity leaned forward and blinked a few times. Come again? Sunset pulled up a fork with a large chunk of ketchup-covered meat on it. You know, behinds, posteriors, backsides, asses. Sunset brought her fork up to her mouth, chewed on her food for a bit, and swallowed, and chuckled. Sometimes they put little crowns on them and stink lines and an arrow pointing them that reads Princess Tushlight Stinkle or Princess of Fartship or
Yikes! Well, I guess she didn't learn much.
Speaking of which, meanwhile, back at Equestria. Uh-oh.
I wonder how things are going.
Princess Twilight Sparkle focused a glare on her crystal castle window and ruffled her feathers as the sounds of uproarious laughter poured out from another corner of the room. Oh boy.
That's the... Oh, come on.
Red-faced and glaring, Twilight turned to the source of the laughter. Come on, guys, it's not that funny. Pinkie Pie and Rainbow Dash rolled around on the ground as they waved their hooves up in the air. Tears streamed from their eyes as laughter poured out from them. Spike was in a similar state as she laid on his back and held a large book with Sunset Shimmer's cutie mark on it above him. He kicked his feet as he joined in the laughter. Prince Ass Twilight!
That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Pinkie attempted to stop laughing without reply. Just when you think it's over, bam! She comes up with another one. Oh my gosh! Rainbow Dash cried. Those little crowns, priceless.
Back in town.
Rarity and Applejack raised their eyebrows to Sunset, while Rainbow Dash burst into laughter and Fluttershy did her best to hide a titter. Don't you think it's kind of a misuse of the book? Applejack asked. Rarity nodded. Certainly an uncouth use for it.
Well,
Sunset shrugged as she stuck her fork back into the spaghetti. What?
I wonder if there's an explanation for this.
Oh, relax. It's a way better use than asking her for friendship advice. What?
Why?
Did you learn nothing from Rainbow Rocks, or the first Equestria Girls for that matter?
Let's see what's going on.
Besides, she came here and was bad at being a friend, Sunset asserted while pointing her fork. I was the one who had to save everyone with my friendship skills. If anything, she should be writing me for advice on being a friend. Princess of Friendship, my ass.
What? You wrote to her?
Wait, now remember she's talking about how she stopped the Dazzlings at the end of Cafeteria Control. Now it's coming back to me.
I don't know. Well, that probably explains it. I mean, this is a different take on the Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks thing.
Well, in the meantime, you guys! Oh my gosh, you guys! Oh my gosh, oh my gosh! You guys!
Pinkie Pie. Ritalin. Take it.
The group turned to see Pinkie smiling wide at them and bouncing from foot to foot, while something under a white sheet stood next to her. A pair of pigeon-toed pink and white boots poked out from under the bottom of the cover. Great, she's overstimulated, Sunset said. Rainbow Dash, would you get her a juice box or something? On it! No, wait! Pinkie cried. I want you to be my new friend! Sunset sighed and pinched the bridge of her nose with a thumb and forefinger. Excuse me. Pinkie, for the last time, you can't just put a sheet over someone and say you befriended a ghost. No,
Shit.
It's who's under the sheet, silly. Wait, what?
Pardon?
Rarity shot Pinkie a quizzical expression. Pinkie dear, I don't see what the need is for such an elaborate setup. You know and are friends with everyone at school. The group stared in shock as Pinkie removed the cover, revealing Sonata. Hello! What in tarnation? Applejack cried. Fluttershy made a distressed sounding meh and ducked under the table. Sorry, I can't do it that good now. And Rainbow Dash announced, nope! And she pushed her chair away from the table, stood up, and sprinted away.
She out of there.
She's
That's
like,
smart.
fuck this shit.
She's smart. For once.
Sunset cried as she motioned out, Pinkie, you can't make friends with her! Why not? Pinkie asked as she puffed out her lower lip. She's evil! Sunset cried. She's not evil, she's just misunderstood. Sunset narrowed her eyes. She's eating yogurt off Fluttershy's plate right now while celebrating the death of bacteria cultures.
That was fucking fast.
Sonata shoved a spoonful of yogurt into her mouth as Fluttershy covered her head with her hands and shook under the table. And, nom 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 nom! Die, microorganisms, die!
Okay, this escalated faster than the fucking asshole that got tased.
Pinkie looked at Sonata and back to Sunset with the look a child might have if they had found a stray animal that followed them home one day. But she needs a friend! She was just so sad and pathetic looking this morning. I couldn't just leave her. Sunset cried, look! We can't just adopt evil villainesses because they look sad and pathetic.
You're one to talk, bitch.
Ah ha 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 ha, yeah. The group collectively turned and stared at Sunset.
See, they can agree with me.
Hey! At least I wanted to make up for my mistakes, she said, motioning to herself. She motioned out with her hands. Has she shown any sign that she's the least bit remorseful for what she's done? Wait, where'd she go?
Uh-oh.
Pinkie turned and pointed towards another table. Oh, there she is! She's making you more friends. A student with a gray beanie that covered an unruly mob of reddish-brown hair stared up at Sonata in confusion that was slowly turning into dread. Sonata hovered over him and eyed the hoagie sandwich he was holding hungrily. From the same table, a female student with long purple hair, a female student with long red hair tied in a ponytail, and a male student with short tousled green hair and a wide-brimmed brown hat glared at Sonata.
Ooh, that looks so good!
Sonata said as she looked over the sandwich. Thanks? The student with the beanie replied. He stared up at Sonata with a worried expression.
Can I have some?
Sonata asked with a smile.
Otherwise, someone might encounter an unfortunate accident.
Sonata continued.
And by someone, I mean you. In my unfortunate accident, I mean I'll find out where you live and murder your entire family and you. For realsies.
And all of this with a cheerful grin on her face. Ah! Here! Take it! The student cried as he held up the sandwich.
Wait!
Yay!
Wait, when did we go from dumb to, like, Dark Sonata Dusk or that Psychonauta Dust thing?
Psychonauta?
Yeah!
I have no idea. Sonata cried as she took the sandwich and shoved it into her mouth as far as it would go and simply stood there.
Oh, fuck. She's joking.
A couple of nearby students' angry faces changed to confused ones as Sonata hovered over them with a sandwich in her mouth and stared off into space. Pinkie, Sunset, and everyone else at their table likewise simply stared in confusion, Fluttershy peeking her head out from under the table. Tears began to stream from Sonata's eyes, and her already blue face began to turn a few shades bluer.
She's joking!
Sonata, no!
Pinkie cried. She rushed up to Sonata and pulled the sandwich out of her mouth. Sonata took in a large breath of air as a soggy mass of bread vegetables stopped blocking her airway.
Silly Sonata, Pinkie said. You need to chew your food before you try to swallow it. Oh, right. I always forget that part.
How could she forget that? She can remember how to murder and kill someone's family, but she can forget how to chew?
Fuck if I know.
Oh, that's okay,
Pinkie said as she handed Sonata back her rather moist sandwich.
It could have happened to anyone.
No, it only happens to you.
Because Pinkie Pie, fuck you. And Sonata.
Fuck it.
Want some?
Sonata asked as she held the mangled sandwich.
Do I?
Pinkie replied excitedly. Sunset and Applejack's jaws dropped as Rarity and Fluttershy began to look nauseous. Fluttershy placed a hand over her mouth as her cheeks puffed out and sprinted away from the table, heading for the door. She was quickly followed by the student in the gray beanie. Sunset averted her gaze. Well, this is going to be disturbing and messy. Applejack shrugged. Being friends with Pinkie usually is. Quite. Rarity agreed as she averted her eyes from the nauseating scene going on a few feet away from her. Suddenly, Vice Principal Luna's voice called out from over the PA system. Would Sunset Shimmer please report to the principal's office? Uh-oh.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God!
Oh, wow. Rarity turned towards Sunset. Whatever do you think they want you for? Sunset shook her head. No idea, but it can't possibly be worse than what's going on here.
Oh God, Nightblaze has one idea, but it's starting to turn to another. Our shipping for Pinkie Pie and Sonata. Pinata.
Pink nada.
I was thinking pinata because it sounds more like an actual fucking English word. Ish. Okay, it originated in Spanish, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It resembles a word.
I think we'll stop it there right now because it is getting kind of late.
Yeah, I don't think I want to continue this anymore.